Patricia and I are working on the marketing project for our flagman product. Patricia is a team lead and she also plays the role of project manager. We both are peers and we both report to John in organizational structure. John suggested that we look at the risks that might be associated with our project execution. John also suggested that we create a risk register where we will be able to track risk severity, risk's likelihood, and our treatment strategy for the particular risk. Based on Patricia's research, the best way to create risk registry would be to use the Files tab right inside Microsoft Teams. By default, there are 3 tabs for each channel: Posts, Files, and Wiki. Most of the time you operate in the Posts tab, but if you would like to create a shareable file, the best way to do it is by using the Files tab. So when you navigate to Files tab and click New, you can choose what type of file you would like to create. And for Risk Register, the best type of the file would be an Excel workbook. After you give file a name, you can click Create button, and this will create brand new Excel document. Microsoft Teams will also open web-based interface. You can edit the file and add additional content right away. Typically, an effective risk register consists of at least 5 different elements: risk ID, which uniquely identifies the risk description, risk's severity, risk's likelihood, and treatment strategy. Because the document you create is native Microsoft Excel document, you can highlight the first row to spotlight the headers. You might also consider changing the sheet name to reflect what's actually stored in the sheet. Another helpful thing you can do is create a separate tab which would describe what type of values are you expecting in each particular column. To do that, you just need to click on the plus sign and populate the new sheet with the new values. For example, you can call a separate tab in this Excel workbook and call it Description. Here you would describe the values for risk severity, risk's likelihood, and risk level. Risk severity values might be acceptable, tolerable, undesirable, or intolerable. Risk likelihood values might be improbable, possible, or probable. And risk levels might be low, medium, high, and very high. Some teams might also consider organizing their risk values into the 3-column data. You can have value for the risk, which would assign numeric value for each risk severity, for example, risk likelihood or risk level. Then you will have a short description, and then you will have long description for the risk. There are multiple benefits for this approach. First of all, it will gravitate everybody on the team to better understand what type of risk descriptions and what type of risk values they should select. It will also allow you to do some calculations with risks. For example, if you would like to determine what is really high in terms of the risk, you can do a calculated value and multiply values for the risk severity, risk likelihood, and risk level to get to the calculated value for each risk. Once you define the structure for your risk register, you can start entering the risks. For example, let's compare 2 risks that we've entered into our risk registry. Selected distribution channels, risk number 1. Selected distribution channels for the marketing video will not reach the target audience. And now compare it to the second risk. Vendors will not complete the video before launch date for flagman product. Let's first assign risk severity to both risks. For the first one, the risk severity is intolerable. Basically what it means is that the entire effort of creating the video and distributing the video was done for nothing. If we choose wrong channels to distribute the video for our clients, there's no reason to do this project in the first place. And value 4 for risk severity reflects that. Second risk we can classify into undesirable category. Even if video is not completed before the launch of the flagman product, we still have other marketing mechanisms that we can use to market the product. Using similar logic, we can assign risk likelihood and risk level values. Once we've assigned all the values in columns C, D, and E, we can calculate the actual value behind the risk. To do that, we can use formulas in Microsoft Excel. One of the best ways to calculate the actual value behind the risk is multiplication. If we multiply columns C, D, and E values, we will get to the actual value behind the risk. So for the first one, the value is 24. Let's compare it to the second risk. To do that, we can copy the value and paste it into the cell F3. And for the second risk, the actual value behind the risk is 12. There are 3 main strategies teams can use to deal with risks. Team can accept the risk. This option basically tells, yes, we know about the risk, but we're not going to do anything about this. We're just going to live with that. You can transfer the risk. There are multiple ways to transfer. The best example of transferring the risk would be purchasing insurance. You can also transfer the risk to the external provider. You can put some special clauses in the contract to make provider responsible if this particular risk materializes. External vendors typically understand that, and they charge higher premium for the high-risk contracts. And the last strategy is risk remediation. This is the most frequently used strategy, because in this option, team has ability to control the risk, manage the risk, and take actions. Now, when the risk register is in place, you can just click on the three-dot button, copy the link, and share it with everybody on the team. It might be a good idea to conduct periodic risk reviews as part of the status meetings. You can also download this risk register template by using the link in the description of this video. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this video was helpful and helped you to solve your challenge. If you liked the content, please give this video a big thumbs up. This tells us that you need more content like this, and we will make sure to deliver it to you in the future. Also, please make sure to check out our free and premium resources on the website. All you need to do is to go to the menu section and select appropriate options. In addition, make sure you don't forget to look at the downloads in the description section of this video. I also recommend that you follow online training for everyone. We are constantly delivering new content to help you solve different problems and challenges. And I also have a favor to ask. If you know someone who would benefit from this content, please make sure to share this video with your friends or colleagues to help them solve their challenges. Make sure to leave your questions or suggestions in the comment section of this video. And all the best on your journey. Thanks for watching.